Today we shall proceed further in continuation of the immediate complication of the wound after the hemorrhage. And now this is shock, and it is equally frequent or occurs either just with the incident or after some time. Now, if we take the term shock in general term, literally it means for a that is called jhatka, and it is to most extent used in this way under homeopathic literature, especially in Materia Medica, where most frequently the term is used, the shock occurring in the moving vehicle and likewise. But in real sense, the term shock is strictly concerned with the circulatory impairment. And if we try to define the shock, we can say that shock is a clinical syndrome developing as a result of critical impairment of tissue perfusion due to acute circulatory failure and characterized by hypotension, shallow respiration, tachycardia, and ultimately unconsciousness. Here, it is important to note that in most instances, when the students are asked to give definition, they frequently fails to conclude themselves that how much information I have to include for the purpose to define any particular term. And I frequently said in the classes that the best way to prepare a definition is, number one, use the words as minimum as possible for the purpose to define any term. And because the definition itself requires to supply the maximum information about that term to which it has been defined, it means give maximum information with minimum use of words. So the words must be extensive in their meaning. And you must have some precise knowledge to define any term. In this sense, here you have to keep into your view the four main things. Number one, it is a clinical syndrome. Shock is a clinical syndrome. Second, how it develops? Developing as a result of critical impairment of tissue perfusion. Second point is impaired tissue perfusion, and how this impairment of tissue perfusion occurs, that is due to acute circulatory failure. It means due to acute circulatory failure, if critical tissue impairment, tissue critical tissue perfusion is impaired. The tissue perfusion is impaired critically. It constitutes the shock, and the shock is described with the features like hypotension, shallow respiration, bradycardia, and ultimately unconsciousness. Now, we shall look over the causes of the shock. There are several causes of shock which can be broadly distributed under three major groups, and these groups also represents the type of the shock. As the hypovolemic shock. As its name indicates, there is a diminution in the blood volume, and naturally when blood volume is diminished, the tissue perfusion must be impaired. Such may occur as a result of severe hemorrhage, burn, dehydration, acute pancreatitis. These are the conditions when the blood volume is critically diminished, and as a result of diminished blood volume, the shock occurs, which is known as the hypovolemic shock. But the next variety, when we observe, that is normovolemic shock. Here, the term is not entering into the conception very easily. When the volume is normal, then what happens? Which causes the shock? Certainly there must be a grave impairment in the circulatory pattern, or the process of circulation is impaired with the under effect of certain causes. Just like the capillary damage, arteriovenous shunting, and inappropriate vasodilatation, as in case of sepsis, anaphylaxis, injury, mostly upper spinal cord. Here, this is the point for which I have to describe these all features, because I have to correlate this shock as a complication of the wound, that is the result of injury. Such may also happen in case of abdominal injury, and under these conditions, mostly there is obstruction in the circulatory pattern. That's why it is also frequently known as obstructive variety. Again, the injury is also related to certain neurogenic cause, and accordingly known as neurogenic shock, if the impact of injury is provided on the critical part of the nerve, as where the terminal portion of the body, like the finger tip or testis, or likewise. In this way, the normovolemic means the blood volume is sufficient, and in spite due to certain other causes, the circulatory pattern is disturbed and the tissue perfusion occurs. And the last one is the cardiogenic shock. It is caused by any circulatory disturbance any circumstance leading to severe heart failure like myocardial infarction, acute massive pulmonary embolism, pericardial tamponade. Likewise, these are the conditions where the heart itself fails to act properly as a pump, and when the pumping effect of a heart is failed, it must produce the failure in the proper circulation, and ultimately it will result in the tissue perfusion impairment. Now, the all individual variety produces individual type of the features, but on the whole features of the song may be described or included as a common feature, and those are: number one, hypotension, where the systolic must goes below the 100 millimeter of the mercury. Second, tachycardia, when the heart rate proceeds above 100 beat per minute. Rapid and shallow respiration. Drowsiness, confusion, irritability, oliguria, urinary output diminishes below the 30 ml per hour. I think it is not required to be described that when the diminution of the urine volume is noted as oliguria. In the normal course, the urine volume remains between 1.5 to 2.5 liter within 24 hours, and may also ranges from 1 to 1.5 liter in certain specific condition, though not called clinical. But if the urine volume diminishes below 1 liter, that is certainly called oliguria, and here in case of shock, oliguria is almost the most prominent and constant feature. Elevated or reduced central venous pressure, multi-organ failure. These are the common features which represents the shock and occurs in different combination following the different causes or different type of the shock. This multiple organ failure also adds to the features, as well as these are counted under complications. If we account the complications occurring as a result of or in the course of the wound, this may be the visual or cerebral impairment, respiratory distress syndrome, myocardial depression, impaired liver function, jaundice, mucosal damage, muscle weakness, peripheral gangrene, disseminated intravascular coagulation. These are the renowned and most prominent complications, as well as also adding into its feature. Now, when accounting about all its aspects, we shall proceed to the part of its management, and for this purpose we have to adapt firstly the general principle under which the fluid requirement is to be supplied, because first and foremost requirement in the management of the soul is to correct the tissue perfusion, and it should be maintained till the actual cause of the soul has not been declared, and so it is the first thing to be done. And now the monitoring. Though regular clinical evaluation is essential, progress should also be assessed by monitoring certain parameters at the bedside like ECG, blood pressure, body temperature, oxygen saturation, urinary output or central venous pressure. And the next one important is to manage the acute pulmonary edema. For this purpose, firstly, the patient is advised to sit up in order to reduce pulmonary congestion if he is conscious. And second, highly concentrated oxygen in high flow should be given to breathe. Alleviation of the breathlessness, promotion of urinary output, and prevention of the vasoconstriction through appropriate medicine as described later. Controlled vasodilatation, it is one of the important aspects in the management of pulmonary edema. Also left heart failure and the circulatory assist devices like intra-aortic balloon counterpulsation or ventricular assist device. In this way, these are almost a general principle for the purpose to set the strategy of management of shock. When we have described till this level, I think it would be relevant to quote certain medicines which required. And in this case, caffeine is one of the most important medicine under homeopathic discipline, and it acts as a direct heart stimulant and diuretic, raises the blood pressure, increases the pulse rate, thus provides a prompt support in extreme feebleness or threatened heart failure, you may say. And the next one is the Crataegus. It is commonly indicated in chronic heart disease, in collapse of typhoid or hemorrhage from bowel. It is represented by cold extremities, pallor, irregular pulse and breathing, both extreme dyspnea, at least exertion without much increase in pulse rate is the guiding for its implementation. This must be kept into view because the medicines which are used in the case of cardiac trouble, they requires very rapid decision, and on the basis of a few symptoms, it requires to be implemented. And this one, Crataegus, which is one of the most important medicine in the heart problem, this one is the most important feature. That is extreme dyspnea on least exertion. Extreme dyspnea on least exertion is not unusual. It is usual There may be dyspnea on wrist exertion under certain conditions. But its peculiarity is that in spite the extreme dyspnea, there is not much increase in pulse. The pulse and respiration both are interrelated features. When pulse rate enhances, it is probable that respiratory rate must be enhanced. But if the respiratory rate or dyspnoic condition enhances, but pulse rate is not so much enhanced, it indicates very promptly the criticality. And the next one is the digitalis. The slightest movement causes violent palpitation. It is also one of the important features of this digitalis. Slightest movement causes violent palpitation with a sensation as if it would seize. Every movement gives the feeling to the patient that now the heart will seize. This is the most important feature for selection of digitalis. The next one is the spartium scoparium, which is especially indicated on the basis of Chinese stroke respiration. If due to fear shock occurs, mostly in the case of street accident where patient has not been hurt very much on the physical level, but as a result of fear, if the shock occurs, the most prominent medicine is aconite, while if the shock occurs as a result of injury, most frequently the neurogenic, and it requires arnica. In this way, we can conclude the study of this shock. Thank you.